You know, we're here tonight, and it was just announced a few hours ago that another 1,000 people in the state of Connecticut will lose their job. And they'll lose their job in an industry in which Connecticut was king for many years. They'll lose their job in maintaining, rebuilding engines and parts. And that in isolation would be okay, I suppose, if you're not one of the people losing your job. But this is the big statistic, and the one which really means we're going to elect a Democratic governor in the next election. Since 1990, Connecticut ranks dead last for job growth of all 50 states. In fact, there is no job growth in Connecticut since 1990. In fact, we only have 97.2% of the jobs we had in 1990. Put it another way, there's only 2 states that have fewer jobs today, or at least as the labor statistics a few months ago, than had in 1990. So we're in a class almost by ourselves. Or put it another way, in an economy that created tens of millions of jobs, 48 states shared those jobs and we didn't do anything. We've got to change. We need new leadership. We can't afford to have the highest electric rates. We can't afford to lose our industries. We can't afford to be more dependent on property taxes than any other state. I am so happy to be here with these other 3 individuals because one of us is going to be governor and one of us will be responsible for changing this state. And that's why we're here as Democrats in this library, and that's why I'm speaking to you tonight. The difference between the governor and myself is over the last 14 years, I've never presented a budget that had a structural deficit in it. And the reality is that this governor, throughout the time that she's been governor, has year after year presented budgets that had structural deficits, and we had one this year. And the senator is absolutely right. On February 5th, the governor presented a budget that was at least $2.5 billion out of balance. We need honesty and truth. And you know what? I firmly believe that the people of Connecticut will rise to any occasion if we speak the truth to them, if we tell them that there's a better future ahead of them, if we give them budget decisions to make and investments to make. I believe they'll do that. Listen, for 14 years I've had to tell people when I was going to raise their taxes because mayors can't run away from budgets. We can't kick a budget deficit that we're experiencing now into an out-year budget. It's against the law. What we need is governors who are going to come to the plate and say, when things are tough, we're going to get going. We're going to straighten things out. The other thing I would have done right off the bat is I would have measured the state of our safety net. The idea that this governor has chosen to balance the budget in part on the backs of people lying in nursing homes or requiring medical care or receiving assistance from the not-for-profit partners that we have, that she would seek to take from them to avoid raising taxes on the richest among us, speaks much about her. And I think ultimately is why we'll have a new governor in the not-too-distant future. In the structural deficit for the 11-12 and 12-13 years is $6+ billion. Which candidate appearing before you do you trust to make the decisions about the future of your family, your children, and your grandchildren? I have balanced budgets for 14 years. I have a record of accomplishment of building jobs and taking the job seriously and getting the job done.